Hello, hello, welcome everyone. We are back. The gang is back on Sports with Sadaji and Friends, and we are here to talk about the very, very exciting and drama-filled Azerbaijan Grand Prix at Baku City Circuit. What a race, Aniket! It started off. At the start we thought it is just another snooze fest, but man, what an ending that was.
I mean, how exciting was that race, right? Like, I would say one of the best races this season, probably like the top race for some of the fans as well.
Yep.
So much of action in the second half of the race. As you said, the first half was a little of a snooze fest, little of a drab affair. Wherein I think I messaged on our group chat as well, can we fast
Yeah,
forward this
like,
race?
oh,
And you
please.
messaged me like, no, 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 what are you saying? Because Charles was leading at that time. So we just needed a McLaren driver to pull off one of the best overtaking moves of the season to make the race spicier and
Yeah,
interesting. And from there on, we got non-stop action, and all of us were glued to our television sets or our laptop screens or whatever. So exciting race, and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna break it down, and
yeah,
yeah, if our viewers have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them as well.
yeah. But yeah, like you said, fantastic race. I think second victory for Oscar Piastri, right? Third if you count sprints. But yeah, I think so. Aniket, um, Oscar Piastri already has his second victory in his second season of Formula One. Lando also has only two race victories, and Oscar actually has three if you count the sprint, right? Which he got in Verstappen's dominant season last year, right?
Hmm.
He and Carlos are about the only two drivers to win something last year.
Hmm.
Max won pretty much everything else, right? The other
Yeah.
five sprint. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Perez won a couple of races, but whatever. Um, but yeah, so I think very good drive from Oscar. It's funny in a weekend. I think you remember, right? On what that Saturday or Friday, McLaren announced that it's going to be, Papaya Rules 2.0, right? Team orders are going to be in effect for Lando Norris to help him this championship.
Yeah.
And then what happens? The team messes up his qualifying. Yeah, tell the viewers, Aniket, what the hell happened on Saturday with Lando Norris?
Yeah, before we actually move on to the main race, let's talk about the qualifying. So, as you said, Lando, what happened was in Q1, he was in a danger zone and he had to get a lap in to move out to move into Q2. So I think he was on a good lap, which would actually put
Yeah,
him
he was
into
on
Q2 because McLaren obviously have the best car in F1 at this point. So, if Lando does not make Q2, it's going to be a disaster for them. And obviously, they had the pace. But what happened was there was an incident just before he entered Q3, or just while he was exiting the last corner in Q3, and apparently the team told him to slow down because they thought the yellow flags were being held for that incident which happened
yeah.
before he went onto the long back straight, and then he aborted his lap basically. So that left him down in what, P16, I think, because he did not get his flying lap in.
No, I think P17. It was P17.
P17, yeah, because he did not get
We
his
kept
flying lap in.
and all that stuff.
Yeah, and that left him a lot to do for the race on Sunday, a mountain to climb, especially when his championship rival Verstappen was in what, fifth or sixth position, I
Yep.
believe. So yeah, he was like basically 11 places down on his championship rival. So that was a big problem in a track where McLaren was supposed to be good, as well as in a track where it was expected that Lando would get get eat into the championship points even further. But obviously that didn't happen on Sunday with the how he started on Saturday. So that's what happened with Lando, unfortunately. And as you said, ironic, it happened after the McLaren whole papaya rules
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah. And just to clarify with the viewers, the flag that Aniket was talking about, the team thought it was a yellow flag and told Lando to slow down, but turns out to be a white flag. And according to the rules, white flags only is basically saying be careful, slow car up ahead, but it really doesn't mandate the driver to slow down compared to a yellow flag, a double yellows where you have to kind of lift off, you can't overtake cars and all that. So that crucially cost Lando his place, and he never got out of Q1, which bummer for him. but he did finish the race fourth.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously the McLaren is fast, so I mean we've seen previous years like we've seen Max Verstappen or Lewis Hamilton in years before go from P20 to P1, so that McLaren is fast.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean coming back, and then we saw Charles Leclerc get a pole for the fourth successive year in Baku. He really likes that track, right? But unfortunately, Charles, this is the next curse he has to break, the Baku curse, right? And it's not just winning Baku; he has to win it from pole. That's his curse.
Yeah.
But if you talk about the race, Aniket, if you want, if we let's talk about the top five moments from Baku, right? And obviously, it was an action-packed race, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of overtakes. This year had also a longer DRS zone, which I think did help for overtaking because I think even though it's a 2.2 kilometer long straight, the DRS is not actually it's not that long.
Yes.
It's only for a part of the straight, so they did lengthen the DRS this year, which gave us a lot of action-packed moments. And I think Aniket, the top moment has to be the battle at the front, right? Uh, the race started off, uh, Charles quickly got away from Oscar, and Oscar was cooking his tires, and then he had to start backing off. And yeah, I think by then in the first round of pit stops happened, Charles was like what I think 8 seconds ahead,
Yeah. About
um,
6 to 8 seconds ahead of Oscar.
6 to 8 seconds ahead. But yeah, I think the undercut was very powerful. Like one pit stop later, I think, and Charles even pit on the next lap as Oscar. It's not like that, like 3-4 laps, to catch up, right? Charles pit on the next lap, but immediately the gap was cut down to a couple of seconds, or 2 or 3
Yeah.
seconds, something like that. And we saw a glorious fight at the front. I mean, obviously, as a Ferrari fan, it didn't end the way I wanted to, but yeah, it was just insane. Like Oscar caught up to Charles again, um, and I don't know what these Aussies do. Oscar did a Daniel Ricciardo like dive bomb, late braking into turn one, overtook Charles, and then Charles spent the rest of the race trying to catch up to Oscar. But Oscar raced very smart. He covered off Charles at all the right moments. Leclerc had plenty of opportunities to overtake, but
Period.
uh, yeah, I think also Leclerc trying to go on the outside was not working out for him.
Not working on. Yeah. The dirtier
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it was also not just a two-way, but what like more like a three-way and then a four-way fight, Aniket, right? Yeah, what was going on behind Charles?
Yeah. I mean, as you said, the top moment from Baku is definitely the three-way fight initially, which we had after the first round of pit stops. So 6 second lead or something along those lines was what Charles had in his bag after the first or during the first round of pit stops, and I think he pitted 2 laps later than Oscar. And the McLaren seemed to be working really well on the hard tire compared to the Ferrari. The Ferrari seemed like it was taking a lot more time to warm it up, and that's the reason the 6 second gap became like a second or two,
Yeah,
after a couple of laps. And obviously, Lando did help in that. He did slow down Sergio Checo for that one extra lap, which allowed Piastri to get in front of Perez, which was crucial for him to attack Charles, a couple of laps later. But moving on to the fight at the front, we saw Charles uncharacteristically leaving the inside open for Piastri to overtake, which on seeing live, I'm like, why are you doing that? Piastri is. We saw it on live. We were on board with Oscar. He was closing the gap down further and further.
uh,
And here we have
I,
Charles Leclerc on the outside, on the dirtier side, not putting up a fight for some reason.
yep.
And Oscar just zoomed past him, took the lead, and he never looked back after that, despite what Charles was throwing at him, despite Sergio also being there. So that went on for about 20 odd laps with a lot of good entertainment, a lot of good fun for the viewers. And ultimately, Charles couldn't do it. And then he fell behind
Yeah,
about
he
five to
cooked
six
his tires.
seconds,
Yeah, he was in the
started to fall
dirty for
back. Yeah.
laps.
It did seem like the Ferrari did get to its tires a couple of laps later, and Charles kept attacking, but when you're behind in the dirty air, it becomes very difficult to overtake on older tires, especially. So
Also,
that's
Baku
what
was
happened.
hot as shit, man. Like the track was very hot. That was not helping the tires
Yeah,
either.
exactly. It was not helping the tires. And yeah, Charles did try his best. Sergio did try as well, but ultimately Oscar did open up that gap further, and that led, you know, to Carlos catching up with them. And
Yeah,
then we had a three-way for second place at that point, which ended up in disaster for Checo and Carlos. So
yeah. So what happened? What do you think happened there, Aniket? Why do you think that happened at the end? Like, what is going on to those guys? In their minds. Like, how do you go from third and fourth to a double DNF?
I mean, that's what happens when you have two drivers trying to take the clean line going towards the next corner,
Yeah,
and they came together, which resulted in a collision. I think what happened initially was what Carlos trying to take the place of Checo, which did happen. I mean, Checo trying to take the place of Charles, and then Carlos, getting a double toe and then taking the place of Checo. And then Carlos was extremely close to Charles going into turn two or turn three, and then
yeah, yeah. I think
he had to
basically
yeah,
Checo took Charles, and then Carlos came like in a through goes Hamilton style. He just came and overtook Checo, and when these were fighting, Charles again just
yeah,
zipped ahead. Yeah, and then I think turn two, they were both trying to get the toe behind Charles so that they can get the
exactly.
second, right? Um, and both were trying to be behind Charles, but they didn't see that they're not behind the other. They just
I would say it was an incident that could have easily been avoided, but
yeah,
yeah, I mean, ultimately the stewards ruled it as a racing incident, and I would beg to differ in terms of what was right and what was wrong. It was very hard to pinpoint somebody for blame on that one. I felt that it was equally. I mean, the fault was equally distributed between both the drivers. Unfortunate, a lot of constructors' points lost for both the
yeah,
teams, and that's a good segue into Red Bull now, I guess, in terms of what's happening with them.
yeah, yeah.
So
So I think that brings us to the second moment, right? With Checo crashing out, McLaren have finally taken the lead in the constructors' championship. But again, I think it's a mixed weekend for McLaren with Lando so far behind. Lando finished fourth and Verstappen finished fifth, so Lando only got 3 points more than Verstappen, so he barely cut into Verstappen's lead at the front, which could have been much more because assuming Lando didn't cook his qualifying, right, and assuming Checo and Carlos didn't have a double DNF, and if Lando was at the front, safe, just for the sake of argument, if Lando was in first place and Max was in seventh, right?
yeah,
That's like what a good close to 20 points that he would have, made up, but he didn't. And at one point, if Leclerc had actually won the race and if we didn't have a double DNF, Charles would be going ahead of Lando. That's how much McLaren messed up this weekend, right? So,
yeah.
yeah, I think it's a big weekend for McLaren. Um, and I think Red Bull will be thanking the stars. I mean, I know they lost a lot of points with Checo crashing out, but I think at this point, McLaren is more focused on helping Max win the championship rather than the team getting it right.
I mean Red
I
Bull.
mean, Red Bull, sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
but
Could be
sorry,
McLaren as
but
well because that's what McLaren is also doing, right? With all these BS strategy calls in qualifying.
do you think no, I mean Red Bull on McLaren, sorry, but do you think Red Bull may intentionally try to go for second or even third to get that wind tunnel time, which they very badly need now? The car is absolute
Yeah,
garbage.
because I think firstly they've been winning for the past 2 years. That means less internal time, and also they've been fined and deducted a few internal hours because of the whole exceeding the
Oh
budget
yeah,
cap and all that. So definitely they do need their internal time, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories also going on regarding that front. That Red Bull might be happy to just finish second or third, and somehow get Max the championship. So that could very well happen, but yeah, another mixed bag for them, right? We thought they would be good at the circuit. We definitely thought Sergio would be good, and that's the reason Red Bull kept him. Sergio did live up to his promise, albeit for the last lap crash, unfortunate crash, but he did live up
Yeah.
to his promise. So this one and coming up next in Singapore will be another important race for Sergio with that respect. If he can do well in Singapore and get a good load of points for the team, that'll be a good sign for them because they desperately need some constructors championship points because of the amount of points they've lost over the last 7 or 8 races that they've lost to McLaren, and McLaren has finally got the lead now. So yeah, Sergio expecting another good race from him next time around. But Max, like, he could not get what he could not get to the grips, or I would say get to the grips with this car, right? It was basically
Yeah.
like he was trying to fight the car, he was trying to, fight the brakes of the car, and every lap he had something or the other to tell to his race engineer, which
And
was
also
very
fun.
strange, right? Because we have
Yeah.
not
Also,
seen him in a position where Checo is far and away the number one in that race, and Max Max driving in a lonely like sixth place or something.
yeah, because it's also funny because I think I don't remember whether it was during free practice or qualifying, but Max actually liked the setup of the car. He was actually saying on the radio, "Guys, you've done it. It's great, right?" And it was actually, I mean, yeah, he was not the greatest in qualifying again, but I don't know what happened between, say, free practice and the race that Red Bull
Hmm.
again just. Um, so that's had to be disappointing. But if you
Hmm.
all team standings, right? Right now, just 50 points cover the top three.
Hmm.
And with the form that McLaren and Ferrari are in,
Correct.
Ferrari have a renaissance for the last couple of races, right? And the form Red Bull is in, yeah, it'll not be surprising if Ferrari overtakes Red Bull at this point.
Yeah.
They're just points behind Red Bull. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting last 7 races. And if Red Bull continues to struggle at Singapore, oh my.
Yeah, that could open up a lot of interesting scenarios in the championship.
Yeah, and
Hopefully,
then
the drivers' championship as well, because that's where we need excitement.
yep. And then we also have Vegas, right? Like where Ferrari was very strong at Vegas last year.
Yeah.
It's only that I mean, they came second despite the car being a stupid truck. Uh, Imagine this year when Ferrari is actually fast. And like if they can keep this up, they might end up, I don't know, Sainz or Leclerc might end up winning Vegas too. So you never know.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
think
it's
basically the upgrade package they got from Monza that has
yep,
sparked something within the team, which is
totally.
leading to them get good results. Charles should have
Yeah,
won this race as well,
yeah,
but
and you cannot
at least they're
see
on the up.
like, he looks like a driver reborn after Monza.
Yeah,
But again, I think Red Bull will also be looking at the 3 week break after Singapore
yeah.
before. Yeah,
And we've heard they have got upgrades coming in Austin as well, so
yep.
maybe they'll be better by Austin. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. It's again very exciting F1 season coming up. But yeah, I think number three on our top five moments has to be the rookies, right, Aniket?
Yeah,
The rookies were great this race.
I think
We have
we've never done a segment in the season that we've dedicated only to the rookies. But this
yeah,
race, we actually
this
got two
were good.
brilliant rookies driving
Yep,
amazing races.
yep. It was Franco Colapinto and Ollie Behrman. Ollie Behrman was subbing in for um, Kevin
Kevin
Magnussen,
Magnussen. Yeah,
and Ollie Behrman also the next year is going to be their permanent driver as well for
yeah,
Haas. But this was the second race for both Colapinto and Oliver Behrman, right? And Colapinto came eighth, and Behrman came 10th. And even more crucially, Behrman beat the Hulk.
mm, yeah,
Behrman came 10th. He was 3 tenths ahead of Nico Hulkenberg.
yeah.
And uh, Colapinto was just 2.2 seconds, 2.1 seconds behind Albon.
Album.
Um, yeah, and actually, I think qualifying didn't Colapinto qualify. He was ahead on in a lot of the qualifying sessions. So yeah, I think a great race by the rookies. Yes, Colapinto did qualify ahead of Albon.
Yes,
So
he
yeah,
did.
great race from the rookies. Absolutely fantastic. Um,
Yeah, I especially Colapinto also, right? Coming into the setup, replacing Logan Sargent.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, Fearless driving. I mean, from him as well, right? He had an incident in free practice, and he could have easily called it. He could have easily taken it like, oh, I just have to like finish this race and then I'll be good. But no, he put in a stormer of a qualifying session,
yep.
qualifying within the top 10, and then in the race he was equally good as well. So I mean, no words basically. I'm like, I'm stunned at this performance, and it's definitely going to put a lot of teams on notice. I'm sure like teams like Sauber who want another driver at this point will be looking at
Yeah,
Colapinto and saying,
so,
why not? Why not? Take a
yeah.
stab at him.
So he's free for next season, right?
Yes,
Williams, well, they have Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz driving for them next year.
exactly. So
Yeah,
definitely
maybe.
he's going to be in the market. He could be a very highly rated, I would say, F1 driver come next season who many teams might want either in the test driving program, or just as a third driver, or even like as teams like Sauber who might just want him up up front.
Yeah, and maybe they will, I don't know, try to uh try to keep Colapinto as a reserve driver for a year, because I mean, who knows, Sainz might just leave in 26, right? If the Mercedes seats opens up or Red Bull seat opens up. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think Williams will try very hard to keep him. But yeah, and a funny stat is that Logan Sargent in his entire career scored only a single point in his entire career, and he has been in F1 for 2.5 seasons, and the only point he scored was at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin in 2023, and that also was because that race he was actually, I think, 11th, but or 12th, something like that. And remember that was the race when Lewis and Charles got disqualified for the skid mark.
disqualified. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was why Logan Sargent went into the points. And
Crazy. And here we have Franco Colapinto in a second race finishing eighth.
exactly, Franco Colapinto, to our viewers, has just been in two races so far, just two, and he has already, you know, what is the last race? 10th. Uh,
I think he finished outside the points last race. Like
yeah, he
11th, I
was
think.
on, but he was eighth here, so yeah, he has 4 points. Yeah,
Hmm.
so yeah, he already has more points than freaking Logan Sargent in two races. Yeah, so yeah, great drive from the rookie.
Great drive
Um,
from Colapinto, great drive from Behrman as well.
yep, yep,
Behrman again had a crash, I think, in free practice, but then
yep. Mm.
he did recover and put in a good qualifying. And he was
Yeah,
quicker
I think.
than he could
Mm.
have been quicker than he could have gone into Q3 as well easily, if not for a
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
mistake
Yep,
for
yep.
in Q2. So yeah,
Yeah, I think Behrman is really, repaying the faith that Haas have shown him for next season, right?
yeah.
I think he came seventh in Australia when Sainz went off for the
No,
operation.
Jeddah
Jeddah, sorry, yeah. Oh yeah, that was a tough track too, right? Jeddah is unforgiving.
stuff is. Yeah. He
Sweeping
finished ahead
corners,
of
high.
Hamilton and Norris.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's been a while since we've seen. I think past couple of seasons we didn't have many promising rookies, right? In F1. Who was the last?
Yeah,
Who was the last rookie we've had? Uh, no, not talking about
Oscar,
Fernando, but
Oscar,
Oscar. Yes. Yeah, I forgot
yeah,
about Oscar.
Oscar last season.
I mean, no, but before Oscar, we had like Joe Guan Yu and Logan Sargent,
Yuki
Mick
Tsunoda.
Mick Schumacher, Nikita Mazepin. They're all pretty disappointing, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
agree.
but yeah, I think
But now we have a good cream of talent coming up. I think Lewis
yeah,
Hamilton also mentioned in his post race press conference that
yeah,
the talented bunch is coming up and growing up quickly as well in terms of the race results and so on. So he did immediately go and congratulate both Colapinto and
Yeah.
Behrman after the race.
Yeah, so I think a lot of exciting rookies, right? We have Bearman, we have Colapinto. I know Yuki Tsunoda is not a rookie, but I think his time has also come to
Yeah,
show what he's capable of. But yeah, I think F1 would do good to kind of get some more rookies, right? We have Theo Porsche kind of playing in what Indy, I think, who's also very promising, like Oscar.
Gabriel
Uh,
Bortoleto was another one.
so we have Kimi also Kimi coming in,
Yeah, we have Kimi
Antonelli
coming next season. Yeah.
next season. Yeah, it's going to be great. So yeah, that was number three. A very very yeah, good race for rookies. And I think number four, you're going to hate me for this, Aniket. All right, viewers, get ready. Um, George Russell has won the head-to-head qualifying for qualifying season, probably for races I have not checked. But yeah, he sealed it in this race by out qualifying Sir Lewis Hamilton. Is he done?
G- George Russell is the guy who gets free wins and podiums. He's just there, like I don't know how, but he's just there at the scene of the crime. He's there to pick up
Do
the
you
pieces.
after the race, when they park their cars in the podium positions, Oscar and Oscar and Charles
How did
come
he
out and
get
then,
here?
how the hell did you come here?
Yeah, but I mean I don't know what's happening with Lewis, man. It does seem like Mercedes are doing some kind of experimentation with that second car at this point, based
But
on
I
what
mean,
Toto said in the post race interview with I think Sky Germany or something. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, at this because Lewis does very well on Friday in the free practice. He's there and thereabouts with the top runners. But then the pace suddenly disappears in quali, and then in the race, it's like just an uphill mountain to climb. So
yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I mean, I hope it's better for Singapore, but at this point, I just don't know. I don't know what Mercedes is. I'm not saying it's like Mercedes sabotaging his car like we saw earlier when with the email and all coming out. Maybe we need another email, and then Mercedes will might bring his car back to normal or something. But yeah, I mean, good luck. I would, good stuff from George. Obviously, he did a better job in qualifying throughout the season. Obviously, Lewis is still ahead in the drivers' championship ahead of
Yeah,
George. But we know that Lewis has lost a step in qualifying. It's pretty apparent now. I mean, as you grow older, you definitely lose like maybe a half a tenth to a tenth, at least in the one lap pace, and that's what's happening with Lewis. Although his race pace still remains very strong, it's just that the qualifying has dropped, a little bit due to the age factor and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think that George deserves his praise. He's done a better job at least on Saturdays, but I don't know what's going on with the second car, so yeah, difficult to comment on that.
yeah. Well, I know, it's also like, sorry, for because coming back to George Russell, right? It feels like there's just two things that George Russell does. Either he's like, fourth or fifth, and a couple of drivers in front of him screw up, and he comes onto the podium, or he'll be leading the race and just bins it into the wall and he goes out himself. There's like nothing else with George Russell.
Nothing else in between.
Yep. And
Yeah.
last thing is obviously Aston Martin. It feels like they might be having a renaissance again. We saw a few races they were behind Haas, they were even behind Williams. But yeah, Alonso is back. He was P6, obviously in no less helped by the double DNF, but um I what back to being the fifth best team on the grid. Actually, they would have Lewis too. So yeah, I mean, fighting Mercedes then, right?
I mean, it's difficult to say that because Lewis was out of position. He started in the pit lane and stuff.
That's
So
right. Yes, that
Alonso
is
did
true.
start in the top 10. So yeah, good race from
Yeah, actually, that is true. Despite starting from the pit lane, Lewis was only 7 seconds behind Alonso. So
yeah.
maybe he was fourth best team.
But he did do his job. Alonso did do his job. I mean, he did it to the best of his. you know, capabilities, best of the car's capabilities as well. So yeah, he does definitely deserves a mention because it's been a while since Fernando has had a good result because the car has been atrocious and his confidence level has been pretty low. But I think this race, he did a good job in qualifying, and now uh, he's like, yeah, deserves that, P7, uh, which he had in the race. So good
P6.
stuff from
P6.
Fernando. P6, sorry, which he had in the
Yeah.
race, and yeah, we do F1 as well, so you can
Yeah.
very well join in whenever we do F1.
Yeah.
If you
And
have a
also,
favorite driver, let us know, and we might just have a conversation about him.
yeah, and also he has a controversial comment. Uh, I really don't think it's comparable. Every team in F1 is like Man City. I don't think it's really comparable, Meridista.
I mean,
All teams,
Red Bull do not have 115 charges against them. That's one thing. They've had a few in the past, but yeah,
no,
and
but I
now
mean,
they're not dominating as well. They're not Man City now. Red Bull is not dominating in F1 right now.
yeah, but I mean, I don't think like F1 doesn't have an FFP equivalent, right? I mean, they have the cost cap, and Red Bull's already got punished in that. Um, but also, I mean, all the top teams in F1 are like kind of like Man City, if you want to put it that way, right? So I don't think it's a fair comparison. Even though I don't like Red Bull, it's not. I don't think it's a fair comparison.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Just to segue, we're talking about Aston Martin, right? Just to segue from Aston Martin into the other big, huge news of this past week, Aniket. Adrian Newey finally made his decision.
Yeah.
So, yeah, to all our viewers, Adrian Newey will be racing. No, what am I saying? He's not racing. He's too old for that. Ad-
We'll be helping the racing at least.
yeah, Adrian Newey will be the, I don't know, whatever Aston Martin wants to call it, aerodynamics head, chief strategist, whatever.
Technical partner is what they're calling him now. By the way,
Yeah,
for those who don't know who Adrian Newey is, he's probably one of the best or the best F1 car designer of all time.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
developed title winning cars for McLaren, Red Bull, and now he's going to another challenge. He's going to have another challenge with Aston Martin, bringing them back to the forefront of F1.
Right.
And he was highly sought after by different teams like Aston Martin, Ferrari, to a lesser extent McLaren as well. But ultimately, as Pratyush said, Aston Martin did get the man.
Right.
I would say money talks in this because Ferrari did not match or were not willing to match any offer which Lawrence Stroll was putting on board to get Newey.
Yeah, I think that is Ferrari's loss, and I think that's an unfortunate result of Ferrari's politics coming to the fore again. Um, yeah, Ferrari have this weird thing where they don't like the the basically the factory team at Ferrari doesn't like people in the racing team to be too powerful, right? It's been
Yeah,
widely speculated. It's kind of like an open secret in the paddock that it's what caused the trio of Jean Todt, Ross Brawn, and Michael Schumacher to leave the team way back in 2007 as well. Yeah, I think that's what happened here because the team was willing. I mean, like if you like they are paying Lewis Hamilton double of what they're paying Charles Leclerc, who's on a multi-year deal, right? They're paying Lewis Hamilton double that, another multi-year deal. Like that's how much money Ferrari has. Like guys, Lawrence Stroll might be rich, but Ferrari is motorsport, right? Ferrari,
yeah.
like even Lewis Hamilton said, right, he spends his entire freaking career in Mercedes, and he's like, I want to retire in a red car. That's how much pull Ferrari has. So it's
Hmm.
not like Ferrari was lacking for money to get Adrian Newey,
Hmm.
and you don't simply give up on somebody like Adrian Newey, to get to Aniket's point. And I'm bringing data here. Um, Cars designed by Newey have won 12 constructors and 13 drivers titles. That's how good Adrian Newey is,
I
right?
forgot he was at Williams as well earlier.
Yes. So starting from 92, Williams and Nigel Mansell both won the title. 93, Williams and Alan Prost both won the title, right? 94, Williams won the title. The driver's title was won by a small rookie not rookie, but by like some lesser known driver called Michael Schumacher. But Williams won the constructors title that year, right? 96 again a double title for Williams and Damon Hill. 97 again Williams and Jacques
Jack
Villeneuve.
Williams.
98
Double
McLaren Newey
Hakkinen.
and he won with McLaren Mika Hakkinen. 99 Mika Hakkinen won it. I think Ferrari won the
Yeah.
constructors that year. And then 2010 to 2013, Sebastian Vettel and Red Bull won 4 consecutive titles, right? Um, again, Adrian Newey. And then 2021, Max Verstappen, Adrian Newey. And then 22 and 23, Red Bull and Max Verstappen, again, Adrian Newey. I think, yeah, he's probably what, the best, I guess, aerodynamic designer at this point?
Yeah.
What?
Across, he's developed title winning cars across multiple different
Yeah,
generations of cars as well. So he's got so much of expertise, and that's the
yeah,
reason why he was so much in the market. And just to address one point which Pratyush said, yes, Ferrari did not want to offer the same terms which Aston Martin had. Basically, Aston Martin are giving him the complete control of their car, and
yeah,
Ferrari did not want to do that. They want other people also to have a say in the car, and that's
yeah,
probably one of the reasons why Newey did not consider them.
yeah. I mean, because this guy has been winning titles before both of us were born. Like,
Mm. Yep.
but yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, if you recall, remember few months back, we covered on this channel when who's that guy, Jeremy Clarkson, he told one of the reporters in a race with Newey standing right behind him that uh, Newey is house hunting in wherever the Aston Martin factory is in UK and not Maranello. And it was the same week. It was the same week that reports were coming out that Newey is not getting the control. The Ferrari that he wants from
Ferrari
Ferrari, right?
wants. Yeah.
And that
Mm.
Aston Martin might be swooping in to kind of hijack this deal
We
because
have a comment from Kanish saying Ferrari was the better option, though. Yeah,
yes,
I mean,
I mean,
I
of
don't know.
course.
I guess it was a better option because they are definitely in a better position now than Aston Martin.
Yeah, I
But
mean, that's a better option. Obviously, right? They have two drivers instead of one to start.
yeah, and also, but one thing to consider is he wanted to work with Lewis Hamilton or Fernando Alonso was also in his list, and with Aston
Yeah,
Martin, he's
that is
fulfilling one of those wishes,
that is true. I mean,
and he's going to have more control there. So basically, he wants to do what he wants to do. Unfortunately,
right,
so
yeah,
yeah, Kanish,
but
that's your answer. Ferrari was definitely the better option, but at this point, Newey just wants to do what he wants to do.
yeah, and I think Newey also. I mean, I think he's also going to be developing, street cars for Aston Martin as well. It's not just F1, which he's also doing at Red Bull, right? Yes, what's it, RB
RB
17.
17, RB 17,
Yeah. He'll
yes.
be developing that hypercar, which is supposed to be crazy good. We don't have full details yet, but that's a
Yeah,
street legal.
once we drive it, we'll get to know.
But yeah, uh, yeah, I think this is definitely a big, massive coup for Aston Martin to sign Adrian Newey. Of course, the running joke is they also signed Enrico Card deal, who Ferrari wanted to get rid of. So we'll see how those two work together. But yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, also I think in this one, Newey doesn't care about winning titles. I mean, he has won enough, right? So because I mean, it's going to be a very competitive few seasons in F1. I think, yeah, I think what next season you think McLaren is, what the favorite to win both titles next season?
I think Ferrari could be right up there with them based on how they are performing at this point. So it
Yeah,
could be very well be a duel between McLaren and Ferrari to start the
just like
season,
old
just like old times, which will be good
yeah,
for F1.
yeah,
And we don't know, but it's going to be unpredictable, right? This season has the second half of the season has shown that there could be a four-team race for the constructors
oh man,
and the drivers'
imagine
championship
we
next
get a
season.
imagine we get a 5-way next season. Oh my god.
Back to 2010 vibes, 2010,
Yeah,
2012. We did get a 4 or 5 way back then as well, and we
yeah.
could
Even
very
the
well get that.
thing with the Braun GPR was a pretty competitive, right? Braun ran away the first 6 races, then the double diffuser got banned, and then everybody was scrambling.
That's what this season is reminding me of, right? Red Bull winning all the races in the first half, and
Yeah,
then the other teams catching up, and then Red Bull are struggling and surviving
yeah,
or holding on to the championship by the slightest of the margins. That's what is
yeah.
happening. So this feels like the button championship which Verstappen might eventually have.
Right. I think at this point, I wouldn't write off Max Verstappen, I guess, for the title.
No, I mean
I
he's the
think
leader. I mean you shouldn't write him out.
no,
The
Max
championship
is in
leader.
decent form because there's a stat that says in the last 7 races, Oscar Piastri has the most points actually, not even
He's
Lando
yes,
Norris.
yes,
So I think Max is still probably slight favorite. I mean, we'll see how Singapore and Austin, especially Austin with the big Red Bull upgrade to come. We'll see how it goes. I think Max is probably still the favorite for driver, but I think for constructors, I find it very hard to see Red Bull coming back unless
yeah,
they get the big upgrade and Checo finally rediscovers his form. I think even though he DNF this race, I think Checo's confidence will be very high going into Singapore. And it's another street circuit, right? At
yep.
Singapore. So yeah.
It's gonna be in my
So
backyard, so
yeah,
I'm excited. I don't know if I'll be going for the race, but if I do go for the race, I'll definitely get some clips for our viewers
yeah,
as well. So
yeah. We'll definitely upload some clips of Aniket at the race in Singapore, and
let's hope.
maybe 2025 we both can plan to watch together at Singapore.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
But I think like uh Singapore, we'll definitely do a preview in the upcoming days, hopefully on Thursday or Friday,
yeah,
because that race deserves a good long preview. I mean, based on how the season, how the last race was, and
yep,
what
yep.
all we have to talk about. So yeah, I
Maybe
think the fans.
we could probably do on Friday after free practice. Let's see how the practice sessions are, and
I mean, yeah, I mean the viewers definitely should watch this space to get some, or to basically to see some content from Singapore as well. I'll try to do my best to get somewhere near the track and maybe get some clips of what's going on in the
definitely
preparation.
we should get some last
And
minute ticket to
yeah,
Singapore.
I'll look for some tickets as well because I do not have one. So maybe like
Yeah,
if I do get a ticket, then I'll get some clips as well. But yeah, I
yep.
think that's it from Baku, and that's it for the F1 circus as well for this week or the last
Yeah.
weekend.
But
So
yeah, before we end, what a season is turning out, Aniket. Remember our streams at the beginning at Bahrain?
I think if we do a montage of our streams from the first five races, it would have been the same thing you're talking about. Max Verstappen first,
Yeah,
somebody finishing
dude.
second, a race being a
Like,
snooze fest.
so I was just seeing, the list of banners we have here, and this is one of our earlier banners.
I
And
mean,
I
it's
mean,
been a
yeah,
long time since we used that actually. Earlier, we were like, oh,
yeah,
welcome to the Verstappen podcast. But
he has
yeah,
been
times have
also
changed in F1.
so long. He's been also the podium for so long.
He
Uh,
has, exactly.
Singapore predictions. I'm predicting Ferrari. Let's go. Ferrari is finally good enough for me to do hot takes on Ferrari winning.
I don't. I think we could have this same battle which we had at the front this last
Yeah.
weekend.
You mean
Leclerc,
Charles versus
Piastri,
Oscar,
and Sergio
Charles versus
Perez. Who
Lando?
knows? Because all three of them seem really good at street
Yeah, yeah.
circuits.
Right, right. Man, but if it is Charles versus Oscar again and not Lando, I think the season is over for Lando.
I agree. So my okay, Ganesh wants predictions. So Ganesh, top three predictions from my side will be, I would say, the same as last weekend, but maybe I'll get Perez to P3 this time. Maybe he gets that P3 and finally has something in store for his Red Bull fans as well. So I would say the roles are reversed this time. I say Leclerc wins Singapore, Piastri second, and Perez third.
Yeah, let's see. I think
And drop in
I
your
don't,
predictions as well, please. We'd love to hear
yeah,
them.
I think I think Ferrari will do well, but I think I don't know, man. It feels like Carlos might have a point to prove after his DNF, and And Carlos has been a bit weak the last few races because Charles has been having a great time. But
Mm-hmm.
remember, last year's winner of Singapore was Carlos Sainz. So
Mm.
I'm going to go out
Yep.
on a limb here and say Sainz is going to defend.
Is this going to be Sainz's last victory in a Ferrari overall? Do you think that's
Yeah,
the last victory? Could well very well be the case, right?
yeah, yeah. I know, Aniket, there is something interesting. I was just looking at the driver standings, before we end, a quick interesting, nugget for you. And yeah, Kanish thinks Lando P1. We'll see, Kanish. Let him beat
Ganesh, where do you
Oscar.
think Max Verstappen finishes, and do you think Lando gains ground if he finishes P1? Yeah, go ahead, Pratish.
Yes, I was just, looking looking at the driver standings. So data point number one, um, Oscar made up 15 points in Baku, right? There are 7 races left and a sprint weekend, right? And if McLaren, Ferrari, and Mercedes, continue to, be ahead of Red Bull on the remaining races, and if Oscar continues to beat Lando, Oscar is only 90 points behind Max.
Hmm.
That mad lad might actually beat Lando to the title if things go the right way.
Yeah, I would still say 90 points is a lot. We've seen that Norris is unable to close like a 60-point gap as well. So
No, but I mean, if Oscar continues this form and he's
it's
the
been,
guy,
I know, but Oscar is definitely not winning every race. That's like
he isn't.
extremely unlikely to happen considering the teams are so equally matched at this point.
No, no.
But yeah,
I,
if he
I,
does, then he's
no.
probably had the.
Even the fact that Oscar has a mathematical chance, I think what we're going to see is Papyrus being reversed. I won't be surprised if that happens.
I would be surprised. I'm sorry, I would not be surprised if Papaya rules are reversed if Oscar finishes P1 and Lando finishes like P3 or P4, and
Yep, yep.
then Oscar, and Lando are like, nip and tuck. What if Oscar
Yeah,
and Lando leave Singapore with the equal number of points, or with Oscar being 5 to 10 points behind Lando?
yeah, exactly, right? I mean, that's what I'm saying. If Oscar gets another P1, and if Max is like, I don't know, P5 or 6, right? Oscar makes up another, 15, 20, 15, 17 points. And now he's only
Hmm.
like, what, 60 odd points or 70 odd points behind Lando. And Oscar's like, who's the captain now?
Yeah. Kanish is saying, I would love Hamilton to win. Yes, Kanish. Are you also a Team LH guy? Then we are together in this one. I mean, I would love a Lewis Hamilton win, but I doubt it's gonna happen because of what they're doing with the car every time when he goes out to race. So
uh,
yeah,
Let him beat George Russell first.
I mean he's beating George Russell, right? It's just the last race they messed his car again.
I mean,
Yeah,
quali.
it's okay. Like we are okay to start P6 and George will start P4. We'll still overtake him.
Yeah, yeah. All right, guys. We'll
Yep.
see you again. Hopefully, either on Friday or Saturday, and we'll definitely catch up after the race too. So yeah, safe
Yeah, this has
driving.
been fun. And if you have tuned in all this long, please do subscribe to the channel. Drop your comments, drop your Singapore GP predictions, or your reviews, or your thoughts from Baku as well. Hit those like button. And yeah, we'll see you as Pratyush said towards the end of the week previewing Singapore, and hopefully maybe get you some clips from inside as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Aniket, you have to be a man, man. Come on, you're the man. All right, everybody. Until next time, we'll see you.